You're standing in a foreign airport, a 6-year-old next to you chattering away in a new language, laughing with the cashier. Then it's your turn. You open your mouth to order a simple coffee, and all that comes out is a broken, stammering mess. You've been studying for a year. The kid has been here for 6 months. In that single moment, a belief you've held your entire life cements itself in your mind. You're too old. Your brain is broken. The kid is a sponge, and you're a rock. But what if that entire story, the one we tell ourselves over and over, is a lie? What if the reason you're failing has absolutely nothing to do with your age, and everything to do with a rigged game you were set up to lose from the start? The story you've been sold is the critical period hypothesis, a biological prison door that slams shut around puberty, leaving your adult brain a fossil, incapable of learning a language naturally. It's clean, it's simple, and it gives you the perfect excuse to fail.
But let's ask a question nobody seems to ask. How long does it actually take that genius 6-year-old to become fluent in their first language? 3 years? 4? 5? They're still making basic grammar mistakes at an age when they can ride a bike and do simple math, so why are we amazed when it takes them a year to pick up a second language? More importantly, why are we so disgusted with ourselves when we can't do it in a few months? Maybe the problem isn't your brain. Maybe we're comparing a marathon runner to someone trying to learn to walk while juggling chainsaws. Think about the child's learning environment. A 5-star all-inclusive language resort. They have 2 private tutors, their parents, providing 24/7 immersion. Every meal, every toy, every cry is a language lesson. They have 0 responsibilities, 0 bills to pay, 0 work deadlines. Their only job is to play and communicate. Now look at your life. You're trying to cram 30 minutes of app-based learning between a brutal work meeting and picking up groceries. You're exhausted, you're stressed, you're distracted. You call that learning a language? That's not learning. That's a cry for help. So let's flip the script. Imagine I take you, an adult, and I give you the child treatment. For the next 2 years, you have no job, all your bills are paid, you live in the country, you have personal tutors who patiently correct your every mistake, and your only goal is to learn. Do you honestly believe you wouldn't be fluent? You'd be giving speeches. You'd probably learn 2 languages just to show off.
So what if the game has been rigged from the start? And what if the unfair comparison is just the beginning of the trap? Because the real cage might not even be biological. What if it's psychological? First, there's the pressure. When a 6-year-old points and says, "I want cookie," we clap and cheer. A genius! A prodigy! When a 40-year-old says the same thing, we cringe. We think, wow, he sounds like an idiot. A child only needs to communicate kindergarten-level thoughts. Hungry, tired, play. You, on the other hand, are trying to discuss politics, philosophy, and your complicated feelings about last night's season finale with the vocabulary of a toddler. Of course you feel frustrated. You're trying to perform brain surgery with a plastic spoon. And then there's the biggest killer of them all, fear. A child has no shame. They will babble, make monster noises, and repeat a word 100 times without a single care for how they sound. They fail loudly, publicly, and constantly. And that's how they learn. You, on the other hand, are terrified of looking stupid. You'd rather stay silent in a conversation than risk making one tiny grammar mistake. Your ego is holding your fluency hostage. Every missed opportunity to speak is a brick you lay in the wall of your own prison. So we have an unfair comparison, impossible expectations, crippling fear.
We've been fed this myth
That children are magical language wizards, so we only see evidence that confirms it. When a kid pronounces something perfectly, we see proof. When they make 100 mistakes, we call it cute. When an adult makes 1 mistake, it's proof their brain is broken. But what about that biological prison, that critical period, the science you've heard so much about? Well, here's where it gets interesting. A massive, recent study
found that the ability to learn grammar does indeed drop off. But when? Not at puberty. It happens around age 17 or 18. Is that a coincidence? Age 18 is exactly when most people's lives change forever. You leave home, you start college or a full-time job. Your time vanishes. Your responsibilities explode. The researchers themselves suggested that this critical period might have nothing to do with biology. It's culture. It's life getting in the way. It was never your brain. It was your schedule. So, if the myth is dead and the excuses are gone, what's left? The truth. As an adult, you are not learning with a handicap. You are learning with superpowers. Your first superpower is called metalinguistic awareness. That's a fancy term for you already know how a language works. You understand what a verb is. You know what a noun is. A child has to figure all that out from absolute scratch. When you learn a new grammar rule, you can instantly apply it. That's not a weakness. That's a cheat code. You also know how to learn. You can use strategic tools, spaced repetition systems, mnemonic devices. You can find patterns. A child just throws mud at the wall and hopes it sticks. You can build a house. But what if you could combine the two? What if you could get the massive, immersive input of a child, but use the strategic, pattern-recognizing brain of an adult? Finally, you can focus. A child's attention is a hummingbird on espresso, darting between learning to walk, learning social cues, and learning not to stick forks in electrical sockets. You can sit down for 30 minutes and direct your full mental power at one specific goal. That focused attention is the most powerful learning tool in the universe. So let's kill this myth right here, right now. You are not too old. Your brain is not broken. You haven't missed the boat. The only thing you've missed is the truth. The real question isn't whether you can learn a language. The question is, now that you know the game was rigged and you actually hold the winning cards, what are you going to do about it? Stop wishing you were 6. The advantages you have right now as an adult are immense. You just have to be willing to use them. If you're ready to see how to weaponize those adult advantages, watch my video, The Fluency Before January. It's designed specifically for the adult brain, and it will change the way you think about learning forever. The excuses are over. The real work starts now.